You will leave this video with the knowledge that will help you decide whether the lactational amenorrhea method or breastfeeding birth control method is the right one for you. Hi to all my moms and moms-to-be thinking about the birth control method they're going to use after baby comes. I'm Dr. Sylvia, a general practitioner and health educator with AskAwayHealth. It might not immediately be the top priority for you in the midst of getting ready for your baby's birth and so much more that you're doing. Still, spending a few moments thinking about what you're going to do to protect yourself for the next couple of years after the baby comes is essential. There's several options of birth control available. You can check out my channel later where I have lots of discussions on the different options. Today's spotlight is on the lactational amenorrhea method, and I'm going to share with you over a dozen facts about this method that will help you decide if it's right for you. First, the lactational amenorrhea method means using breastfeeding or breast milk as a birth control method. And no, you are not going to be drinking your breast milk as a birth control method. Second, contrary to popular opinion, it is still a valid, highly effective method of birth control for some women. Number three, despite saying this, the lactational amenorrhea method or LAM is not for everyone. This means while anyone can have LAM, not everyone should. The reason for this relates to how LAM works, and I'm going to explain this to you in a minute. Three elements determine the success of lactational amenorrhea. They all have to be present for this breastfeeding contraceptive method to work. First, you can only use this method within 6 months of having had your baby. Next, you must not have resumed your menstrual periods throughout the time you're using the lactational amenorrhea. So, from the point your lochia ends, that's the vaginal bleeding that happens within the first couple of weeks after having the baby, you should have no more menstrual bleeding in the following 6 months. If you start your periods within the 6-month period, that method is no longer reliable. The third and most crucial element of LAM is that you are fully breastfeeding. Practically, this means that your baby's only source of breast milk is from you. An alternative feed with formula milk, water or juice should not happen or be infrequent. In other words, don't use any other fluid, whether it's water or juice or formula milk, to replace your breast milk. If you have to, it must be only very rarely. Now, this leads to the explanation of how LAM works. When your baby breastfeeds, that suckling action stops the activity of your ovaries. So they don't produce any hormones, you don't ovulate, and you don't produce any menstrual periods. Now, the duration of breastfeeding and how often it happens are the things that drive how successful lactational amenorrhea will be for you. This includes breastfeeding both during the daytime and at night time. One of the recommendations is to breastfeed every 4 hours during the day and avoid going more than 6 hours without a feed at night time. When you're fully breastfeeding, your fertility is reduced and your chance of getting pregnant is low. However, suppose for some reason you reduce the number of times that you're breastfeeding or the frequency at which your baby is feeding. In that case, the ovaries can wake up and you start ovulating. So you can see why I say that lactational amenorrhea method is not for everybody. Not all of us can stick to that strict breastfeeding regime that is necessary to keep the ovaries temporarily inactive and prevent ovulation. But it is an option, and if you can and you do choose LAM, here are the advantages. First, you are free from the side effects and other challenges that are associated with other birth control methods. Next, you avoid the expense of either fitting or going to buy a device. This applies in areas where you pay for your prescription and have to purchase your pills or the coil, for example. And what about the main disadvantages for breastfeeding birth control? The need to adhere to full-time breastfeeding throughout. And secondly, it only lasts for 6 months. After 6 months, you will have to use another method. So for those who ask, is LAM reliable? When the LAM rules are carefully, correctly and consistently applied, the failure rate is less than 2%. That means that if you have 100 women using the lactational amenorrhea method, only 2 of them will fall pregnant. This is a good score for a birth control method. By comparison, the withdrawal method failure rate is about 27%. That means if 100 women were using the withdrawal method as their birth control method, 27 of them would fall pregnant. And the failure rate for the implant or coil is less than 1%. So fewer than 1% of women using this method will fall pregnant. So there is no doubt that lamb is reliable, but are you? Can you stick to the rules, that is a full breastfeeding regime? If not, please go for something else or use lamb alongside a condom for extra protection. Now, while you consider how lamb might work in your life, remember that other factors may also affect how well it works. For example, if you're using pacifiers or dummies, or if you or your baby are ill and are not able to breastfeed, and if you've started to wean your baby, in which case they are breastfeeding less. And another big question, what about expressing breast milk? If life could be so simple. Many breastfeeding moms also express milk. So can expressing breast milk be a way to get in your 5 or 6 breastfeeding episodes during the day or night? For example, if you have to be away, we are still not very sure, but in a small study looking at women practicing lamb who were also expressing milk, their failure rate was nearly 6%. So until we are sure, if you're expressing milk, also use another method in addition to lamb, for example, a condom. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions on this topic, and please share your experience if you've used the lamb and got caught out. And go through the comments. Lots of viewers on the channel also leave very interesting experiences that you may be able to gain from. Don't forget to give this video a like, and please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with somebody else who might find it useful. Check out this video if you're looking at other birth control options, and I will see you again soon.